everyone. Welcome back to Poppin In with Alexa and Molly. I'm Molly.
And I'm Alexa.
And we're here today to talk about some ancient Greek trauma. And no, we're not talking about our time in sororities. The Odyssey!
That
Just
was
kidding.
good.
I didn't have trauma in sororities. I just thought that would be a fun thing to say. But
I feel like, don't
if
we
anyone's
all?
listening, yeah.
It's an age, you know what I mean?
It is.
Wow, that was good. I liked that.
Thank you.
Very nice. Well, I guess we should start with what we always start with. What are you popping with this week?
Why don't you take the lead on this one?
I am popping with, oh my god, I meant to write this down. I think I took a screenshot of it. But that little deformed raccoon
Yes.
that everyone's been talking about.
I
What is his name?
I almost brought that up as a topic today.
Yeah, what is his name?
It's like jerky or something. It doesn't start with a J, or did I
Yeah.
just make that up?
Wow, I really thought I wrote this down. Oh, Jimothy.
Jimothy.
I love
Jerky.
him. He has short spine syndrome, and people on the internet are loving him, and he's just running around like a little... He looks like if a child's drawing came to life.
Yes, you know what he really reminded me of? Do you remember in Poor Things when, like, Willem Dafoe's character would, like, Frankenstein animals together? And there's one animal it was like a goose slash, like pug, and so it's like it only had like two legs.
Yeah,
it reminded me of that a little bit.
But that's so shout out to little Jimothy. I just love that we named him that.
I hope
too.
he's okay. I'm a little worried about his body.
He seems like he's really thriving. He's like a full adult.
Yeah,
that is.
How did they find him? Like, I only just saw him like appear in in the
internet.
Yeah,
I think people he was in people's yards and they were taking pictures of him and they were like, "What is this?"
My only thing with Jimothy is it feels very millennial. It feels very, like, mustache. Like, it's like when people would call something Bob.
Yeah, but it does kind of fit for him, though. So
yeah.
I'll allow it.
I liked jerky.
Jerky, that would be good for him.
I know.
What do raccoons eat? I guess trash, but, like...
They do eat trash. I think they eat anything.
Are they omnivores? Is that the vegetables and... I don't know. I don't think about raccoons
I don't think about raccoons a lot.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of scared. I think they're cute. Baby raccoons are really cute, but if I saw a real live one, I think I'd be really scared.
Yeah.
Some
I
people
have
raise
seen
them.
a real live one.
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever seen a skunk in person?
Yes, there's one at Busch Gardens.
Majestic.
Yeah.
What
is her name? There's one at Busch Gardens.
Henrietta?
Yeah, I think her name is Henrietta.
Really?
Maybe I made that up. But no, there really is one at Busch Gardens because we were sitting at, shout out if you're from the area, but if we were sitting at the like Italian like little theater thing outside, and all of a sudden we were like eating dinner. It was like at night during Halloween, and there was just like a skunk just walking around, and like everybody started freaking out that was around us, and this like person that works there was like, it's okay, she's like around, she like is always here, she's like and we're like, well, she still has a spray.
Maybe they like de-sprayed her or something.
I don't know. But then that night, my dad bought me a little, this was like a year ago, my dad bought me a skunk stuffed animal from a store.
I love that.
To always remember, she's still in my
they're like
closet.
Actually really beautiful creatures.
They're just,
Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what are you popping with?
I'm popping with my new, courtesy of, shout out friend of the pod, Megan, my new A24 movie log book, which I'm like so excited about, and I actually feel really like lucky to have it. I mean, you can buy it from the A24 store, but like I was looking up on TikTok just like how people fill it out, and people were like freaking out, like, where did you get this? Like everyone was like saying like it seems like a very niche thing to have, and so I'm just like really excited about it. I've already filled out like the first two logs.
Okay, and
what are those? I'm really excited. We're gonna start talking about it. My first one was the Odyssey.
Wow, that's a good one to start with.
Matthew and I actually watched Mickey 17 when we came home that night, which we watched a few times, but so that was a rewatch. And you can fill out. You can say like the name, the director, how many stars you give it.
Okay.
You can say like who's starring in it. You put down your notes. You say like if you watch it at home or in the theater, if it's a rewatch, or like, and who you watched it with. It's really cute.
That's
and
nice.
It makes me happy, and it feels very like organizational.
Yeah.
And also like I've never been a Letterboxd person.
Yeah, I was actually thinking it's crazy that we don't have Letterboxd.
I actually created an account like a couple years ago, but I just never, I don't know. To me it feels like people use it just to come up with like snappy like one-liners about movies, and I'm like not interested in that. And I think this is like a fun way, just like a private way for me to log my movies.
I like that. I saw recently that I think Netflix and I think it's Paramount are in bids to buy Letterboxd.
I saw that, which makes me uncomfortable because
I don't like that.
For obvious reasons. That's crazy. So I'm not sure how that's going to go, but
yeah, that's really cute. Maybe I'll get one day.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of movies that you've logged, okay, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
The biggest movie of the year, I would say.
It is, and I can kind of confirm that because right now it is it's had the second biggest opening of all time for an IMAX release, grossing $51.8 million, only behind Avengers Endgame. And we're talking about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
And you know what I was actually thinking recently? Like, you know how Titanic is such like a big deal, and like when it came out in theaters, it just feels like we've been talking about Titanic since it came out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder like what other movie is kind of like that in terms of like the general like grandeur of it. And I was like, I feel like The Odyssey kind of matches that level.
I would have said like The Dark Knight probably.
And that's interesting.
I'm thinking that because I'm actually listening to Shout Out What Went Wrong podcast. Yeah. Love that. Their episode this week is The Dark Knight, and I gasped when I saw that. I never clicked on something so fast. I mean, it's one of my favorite movies, but I was thinking about just the scale of like how huge that movie was when it came out and the way people still talk about it.
People have been doing lists of like what's the greatest Christopher Nolan movie, and that's always number one, and that's always surprising to me because I thought it was a great movie, but I'm always just like,
I think it's a cinematic achievement.
But compared to like Inception, even The Odyssey,
well,
but like what makes
hard for people to wrap their heads around.
Yeah.
But with The Dark Knight, you've seen the Dark Knight movies, right? Yeah. I think you have to understand too from like a Batman standpoint that like when Batman Begins came out, it was not it did really well and it was good, but I think like a lot of people were still not really sure about how they felt about like you know, Christian Bale as Batman, and people weren't. And like when The Dark Knight came out, first of all, when they announced like the casting, I think it was people were like, what?
Yeah.
But then when it actually came out, it's like this movie is awesome. Like it's just such just like the opening scene is like one of my favorite opening scenes of all time, and I can't even imagine what it was like on IMAX. If that ever re-releases in IMAX, I may have to partake.
I'm sure it will.
I'm sure it has, and I just have missed it. But it's just such an achievement, and I'm honestly willing to say that I think The Odyssey, like I felt after seeing it that it was a cinematic achievement.
Oh, absolutely. Like, even when I was watching it, and I was just like, I don't know, like, it's, like, over 3 hours, so obviously I went to the bathroom. I can't believe you didn't go.
Is it over 3 hours?
I think so, or
I thought
at least
it was
close
exactly
to.
3 hours.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't, like, want to miss a single, like, scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, because it just felt like literally like a feast for the eyes. And it's interesting because I feel like every now and then people will be like, it was just okay. And I'm always like, what is making people say that? Because to me, every shot, every beginning to end, I was like, this is amazing. The practical effects, the writing, the interpretation, phenomenal.
I think people who are big Odyssey fans may have a problem with it for different reasons, and just think it's just like, it's not a good adaptation. It's just good as a movie.
Yeah. I
don't agree, but I also think people just want to be haters. And I want to touch on that a little bit, but like, I don't know, people are just so negative nowadays. And the thing is, so when we were going into it, the movie had like a 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes, like right after it was released. And we were like, that'll go down. I don't know. I wouldn't be mad if it didn't go down. Like, I'm like, I could see it being 80-something. Like, because we were like, oh, it'll go down to 70-something.
I think it deserves better than 90%.
I think it deserves 90-something%. Yeah. Like, I don't know. But I absolutely loved it.
Yes. Again, like, here's, okay, reasons why maybe it wasn't like a true line for line adaptation or whatever is because they did modernize it a little bit, and I kind of liked that. Like, I think like they made the language more accessible. If you ever sit down and read the Odyssey, it's quite difficult to access as a text. Yeah. Like, imagine if they had done like Baz Luhrmann's like Romeo and Juliet, but it's like the Odyssey. Yeah. It would be really difficult for like modern audiences. And two, I think they made it more human.
It was very grounded.
Yes, and one of the reasons is, like, whenever you read the Odyssey, the Iliad, or whatever, they're always, like, talking to the gods, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, like, the gods play, like, a bigger hand in it. And it makes sense because in, like, when these stories originated, it's like, you really believe, like, that these gods are kind of, like, people who you can talk to or whatever. Mm-hmm. Whereas in this, the only god that, like, they mention the gods, they'd be, like, Zeus's law or whatever, but even, like, Athena, who's played by Zendaya, she almost just, like, appears as a ghost to Odysseus, and, like, they show, again, we're gonna get into some spoilers, which, it's weird to say it's a 3,000-year-old text, but, like, I guess maybe specifically for this version.
Movie, yeah.
But they go, like, later on to show, like, Athena's image to Odysseus is of, like, a woman that he slaughtered, like, during battle. And so it's almost like the god Athena is there in a way that feels, like, more realistic and more human. It's like, I believe in this god, yes, but also, like, this is probably, in reality, how people would be imagining themselves with the gods.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, unless you are, for some reason, still, like, a person who believes in the Greek gods, which is fine, each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, you hear those stories, and it's just like, okay, well, Athena wasn't actually, like, there doing this, but if you want to believe that it's real, then you have to recognize, like, the way that people interact with their beliefs.
Right. And to go back to what you were saying about the language, I think when the movie started, because one thing I'm going to say, I have a couple of things about Christopher Nolan, but sometimes the dialogue, like, when this movie started, I was like, oh, with the dialogue, because it felt a little heavy-handed at first, and then it did, I mean, but by the time, literally, there's a line where Matt Damon's like, we have to get off this fucking beach, and it's like, I didn't bat an eye at that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it was seamless, and, like, I know people were complaining about, like, Tom Holland calling him dad or whatever, but it didn't feel out of place, like, it didn't feel weird. I think you are just, and they all have American accents.
Which I think is better than, like, I was watching Troy yesterday. I was like, everyone is British in this. Yeah. And it's like, why is it always, like, whenever we make, like, a back-in-time piece, we give them a British accent?
British. Or sometimes it's, like, they have, like you watch, like, Gladiator, and it's, like, there's, like, British accents, but then also, like, some kind of, like, I don't know, there's, like, some, like, Euro, like, I don't know, it's, you never... Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
And I think calling him dad also makes sense because when you think about, like, in that time period, Telemachus would have probably referred to his mom and dad in whatever, like, the colloquial term is for them.
And like Tom Holland pointed out, he wouldn't have said father either. He would have been speaking
Greek. So it doesn't matter.
And I want to talk about Tom Holland too, just, like, to kind of start out with, because I want to know who your favorite, like, performance was. Yeah. And Tom Holland is not my favorite performance, but I will say people were ragging on him, and I think he's just a hard character to do really well. Like, his character is not going to ever just, like, stand out as amazing acting, but I think, like, I don't think it was bad. It was not the strongest performance. I don't actually think Tom Holland is the strongest actor. I really like him, but he did not bother me.
I actually think, like, yes, but I think it actually was a really strong performance, but I think people forget that Telemachus as a character is who, like, Tom Holland was portraying. Like, he is kind of like a little bitch sometimes, and, like...
Well, and I think he wasn't, and I'm not even talking about the character, but just, like, his acting in general. I think there's not, like, a ton to work with. Like you said, he's kind of a little bitch. But also, he is being out-acted by others around him. Like, really outacted. And that's not, like, but that's, like, Tom Holland, I still think is good. I don't think he was bad at all in this movie.
Yeah. It's hard to say who I think, like, had the best performance. I think Anne Hathaway did a really good job, I will say.
She was good. Yeah, Anne Hathaway was probably my third favorite performance.
Yeah.
I really liked Matt Damon in this, and I'm not a huge Matt Damon fan, but I was, like... There was, like, certain scenes where I was like, wow, he's, like, blowing me away right now. And I never say that about Matt Damon. I think he's actually a very strong actor that I just don't think I think about because I'm so used to him being, like, a movie star. And he's actually really good.
All those, like, he does, like, the Bourne movies, which aren't bad movies, but the range is, like, I don't know. I haven't seen. Now, what I'm going to say is, I'm trying to look up his name, because I literally didn't... Okay, Benny Safdie.
Yeah.
Played Agamemnon.
Yeah.
And I was like, Actually, I did not know that was him the whole time.
Well, they're not going to show his face, and I've seen a lot of people comment on this, because if they showed his face, it's like, he's not goofy looking, but it's just like, it would not, but like under the helmet, he's like intense looking.
People were saying, they're calling it like aura farming or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, he does it. And he said, he was like, you know, I had to learn how to like, you're moving in this like armor.
Yeah.
And he was like, basically, you have to move all at one time. And he's like, and when you do that, it's pretty commanding.
He's like a beast in this movie, like physically. And I didn't know he was that
I was like,
big.
wow.
I could tell you're into him because you sent me something where you're like Google, or you're like type in that name into TikTok, which this thing comes up, and type his name into TikTok and you'll see like a thing. I had to type it like 3 different times. Like, what is she talking about? But I was like, why was she looking that up?
Well, it was when I realized who the actor was, and I was like, wait, who was he?
He's fine. He was in Oppenheimer as well.
Oh yeah, he was.
Unless that was his brother. Actually, I get Josh and Benny confused.
I don't know, but like it's like. And granted, he wasn't doing a lot of acting, but just like I loved how they styled him in general, and like the way they didn't like show his eyes until you see him like in death, which like kind of is like he almost is portrayed like seemingly like a god almost. Yeah. And then when you see him in death, you kind of get this vibe like, oh, he was like he's just a man.
Human, yeah. And then I was also gonna say like Matt Damon was just like a beast in this movie. Yeah. Like he was just so physically like. I don't know. I really, but for me, the highest, my favorite performance was Samantha Morton as Cersei. I was I was really blown away by her scene, and so much so it's probably my favorite scene of the movie. And literally, after the movie, I literally texted you and was like, do you have the Cersei book? And you were like, I have, or I was like, or do you have the pen? Because I knew you were reading the Penelope one. You were like, I have both. I'm going to give you both. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to read the Penelope one, but I'm reading the Cersei one. I'm already reading it because I'm like, I loved that scene. Yes. I loved her performance.
And I want to get into that, but I love her because well, one, friend of the pod, Liz, who also is really into, like, the Odyssey and, like, Greek mythology, will recognize her from one of her favorite shows, Harlots. And then she was also in The Serpent Queen, and she plays, like, she is such a good actress.
She's amazing.
Like, she is phenomenal. But in that scene, like, I had read that scene, like, it's in Cersei or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, they obviously don't depict it the way that they do in this movie. And I'm like, the way they do this scene in the movie where she's, like, literally molding their heads.
And special effects. It's not CGI.
Yeah.
I'm so curious how they did that.
I think it's like I heard one of the guys talking about it where it's like literally like they gave her like a molding sculpt. I don't think
crazy because I don't understand how. Also, like when you're first seeing it, you're like, how is that going to turn into a pig? Yeah. You know how you're like seeing it like morph and you're like, wait, how's that going to be a pig? And then then you see it. But she's actually Samantha Morton is a 2-time Oscar nominee, but she may not be like super recognizable to people, but she's not an unknown, but she's just like, she's so good. I actually first saw her in The Walking Dead.
Oh, interesting.
When I watched it. She played Alpha. And she was like very scary, very like her character. She was a really bad character in that. And she was just, but even in that, and it was sort of towards the end of when I watched it, cause it was getting kind of like, it was like 8 seasons.
Yeah.
At that point, and I was like kind of over it, but I even then was like, who is, like, this is an amazing actress.
She plays a good, like, quiet, strong presence. Like, she, like, there's an undertone to her that you're just like, oh, yeah, I should be afraid of this person.
And she's so, like, her character's, like, frightening in this, like, very, like, sinister, but at the same time, like, you're like, when that line where she's like, go back to your disguises, I'm like, oh my God, the way she delivered that. And even just like her crying, like I just was like, wow, this is amazing.
It was so good. And I think also, I was going to say about Matt Damon's performance, I think he conveys like the complexity of Odysseus very well, where he is like this leader of men and he is very smart, but he also makes a lot of stupid decisions. And like, and you have to think for a moment where you're like, he's just a guy who is learning things on the fly too. And also, like, he hasn't been home for forever.
Yeah.
And, like, I think he conveys that well. And it's just, I don't know. But I did think Anne Hathaway did a really good job.
Yeah, she did.
I think I've just been, like, anti-Anne Hathaway a little bit. She's been annoying me in interviews. And then I, like, see her on screen. I'm like, that's right. She is a good actress. Like, she wasn't overacting. She wasn't, like... She like hit
No, I thought
those
she was the
notes
perfect
well.
Penelope, actually.
Yeah.
I also really liked Robert Pattinson's performance.
Oh yeah, he plays a good evil character. He like also like maintained the complexity of that character well too.
He did, and it's funny if you listen to him in interviews. He's always like joke because he's so like funny and jokey, but he's like always defending his character, and he's just trying to make the decision easy for her, and someone needs to take care of the places like in shambles. Like someone needs to step up, and it's like it's funny because I'm sure like he's joking, but also like he definitely sees like the actual like the a different side to the character. He's
which you would have to like probably to convey it.
But he was good. Like that fight scene at the end. Like we can talk about that more later. But like I don't know, the way he was in that scene where he was just like such a like, and also I've seen a lot of people say this, but the way that he'll like say like beggar, plate liquor, like whatever, he's putting his all into that. Yeah, his hatred is like all in.
Yeah. Also I was gonna say, sorry, also about Anne Hathaway, I was just thinking I learned today that she like went and took like courses on how to do a loom, make a looming.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good idea to do to make your like hands look natural.
I guess, but I was like, you think about it, like in the scene you see her actually like moving her hands on the loom for maybe like 3 seconds, which is interesting.
Being an actor is like, I mean, I guess it's your only job, but it's like so much work because you're not only like memorizing lines, acting, but also you're learning, if for certain things you're like learning new skills, or like I always think of like when people have to learn an instrument, I'm like on top of the acting.
Right, yes.
Crazy. Who was your like least favorite performance?
Travis Scott by far.
Oh, okay. So I feel like
he's the first person to speak in the movie.
You see, but it's so short, it didn't like bother me.
Yeah.
I was a little like surprised by his casting, but then I was like, well, I guess like he is a storyteller in that term. Like, okay, fine. It didn't bother me. My least favorite performance was Charlize Theron, probably.
That was another one.
So she I'm blanking on her name.
Calypso.
I was gonna say Cyclops. Calypso. She played Calypso, and I just felt like almost she was maybe a little miscast. Yeah. Because the whole time you're like, this is Charlize Theron.
Right.
Which you could say for any of them, but I just felt like it felt like it was like very stunt casting, like this is Charlize Theron.
And I will say, I think I mentioned this earlier, but I do think like, I know that they had to have some big names in this, but I was like, I do wish it hadn't been so many big names because like there are certain scenes where you're like, oh, it's Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, and Tom Holland in a conversation together.
Right. And like Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland have been in like 3 movies together. Right. So I'm like, okay, well, they're just kind of doing the same thing I've seen them do in another movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to talk about like kind of like the actual way they crafted the story, I think was really well, because I think like with this you could have potentially like the Dune problem where it's like so much to explain, so much story that like you could do like a, you know, David Lynchian Dune and it be a catastrophe. But I think they did it really well where it's like you need to know like a little bit of Greek mythology going into it, but not that much. Like they explain it, like they will literally be like, my wife,
there's some exposition,
who's the twin of Helen or whatever. But the way they say it feels more natural, and they also like wrap in some elements from like the Iliad that, at least I think it's like the Iliad, that I think are like flow into the story very well. Like the whole Trojan horse scene is one of the best scenes in the film. Yeah. But I'm like, I think they do it in a way where it's like you're getting, like, I don't need a film of the Iliad necessarily now. I mean, I think they should, but you know what I mean? Where, because I'm like, oh, you're getting enough context to the situation from a different book that you maybe aren't familiar with.
Yeah, and there's certain things that I do think, like, Christopher Nolan does expect you to have some knowledge of coming into it, which would have been maybe a little helpful. Mm-hmm. Like, and if you're listening to this and haven't watched it, like, I guess know this, I don't know why you'd be still, like, well, you can, it's not huge spoilers, but, like, for example, like, Zeus's Law is something that they don't explain, they just expect you to know. Yeah. Which is that, like, if you're a beggar, like, you're supposed to let beggars in because it could be like a god in disguise. Yeah. But that's something like that's one thing where it's like if you don't, and also the Helen of Troy stuff, I will say they explain it, but I felt like that was a little confusing. Yeah. I think there were like parts where I was like a little confused by like that explanation. But again, I didn't really there were some things I just didn't know
Yeah.
too much about, I guess.
I will say I like that they put the scars on Lupita Nyong'o's face for it, because she played Helen of Troy, and because I don't think like in like the mythology you really get into that, but it's like, yeah, she probably would. She's the face that launched 1,000 ships, and then he's like, maybe 500 now or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, she probably would be like kind of fucked up from like that whole, you know, war.
Yeah.
So I really liked that part.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So something with Christopher Nolan's movies, he's very like, he tells stories like in a non-linear way. So it's always like jumping back and forth. It's like a very specific way that he does his movies, where it's like, it's always jumping back and forth between like past and present. And there is a lot of that in this, but I felt like you said, it was done in a way, unlike Dune, where it's like not confusing. I felt like it was easy to take in.
Right. And it's like giving you context that is helpful to understand the like main story, I think.
Right. What were some of your favorite scenes?
Okay, like I said, the Trojan horse scene was crazy.
Same. Yeah.
Literally,
I was really on the edge of my seat. There were so many times, by the way, during this movie, you can't see me, but I was literally just like on the edge of my seat watching stuff.
No, I was the same way. And in that scene, one, like, you hear the story about the Trojan horse all the time, but they really, like, show, like, all these men. You don't
think about what that would be like with it tipping over and, like, people having to cover their mouths because, like, like,
and he, like, literally says, he's like, we just, like, piss and shit, like, in the horse because we were in there for, like, 3 days or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And, like, you're just, like, cramped up with men. And it is kind of, like, crazy to think about, but... And again, the practical effects of it all. But then, so they take, like, the horse into the city, and, you know, you see them, like, come down real stealth.
Yes, it's so good.
It's so good. And then when they eventually, like, this is, again, when they open the doors, and Agamemnon is standing there.
Yes.
Like, literally.
And they're like, yeah.
Yes. Like, I literally, if I were if I leaned into my freak flag a little more in the theater, I would have been like, yeah,
yes.
as well. Like, I felt like this, like rush. I was like, that was shot so
good.
well.
So good.
So that was good.
God. So my other I have 3.
Okay.
Maybe 4, but I loved the Cyclops scene, honestly.
Yes.
I think the way they did that, and that was...
Practical effects.
Practical effects they used. So I could tell that and what was amazing was, like, you were looking at it. It was not CGI looking at all. It felt like... I think they used a lot of miniature sets, but they also used a giant puppet. So the scenes with, like, them... where they're in the scene too, I think that was a giant puppet, but then when they were just like, when it was like focused just on the Cyclops, I'm assuming that was, they maybe used like a miniature set or something. But I thought that was interesting, and I saw that apparently Christopher Nolan said that Goya's painting of Saturn eating his son was a big inspiration for the Cyclops, which is like, if you've seen that, he's just eating, and it's not in like an evil way, because that's what I loved about that scene too, is they show this Cyclops, and he's like, there's literally a scene where he takes a person and just like starts like eating him. It's as if he's like eating a carrot. Like, it's not like this nasty thing. He's just like literally, I've never seen it like that, where someone's just like chewing on someone. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think because this is a quote, "What makes it the most frightening is that from the monster's point of view, they're not a monster. We're irrelevant to them, and that's what's really scary." And I could really see that, where he's like eating him naturally, and they actually... like, it's like again, he's like eating a burger, but there's like a scene where they like hear him talking at some point, which like I felt bad for him. He's just like trying to make cheese, like, I don't know. And he's like talking, and they're like, oh my God, he talks. Why wasn't he communicating with us? And they were like, would you talk to ants? Yeah. And I just thought that was like, I loved that line.
That was really good. I think my other one, and especially when I learned how they made it, was when all the soldiers like come up from hell, because they actually buried those people.
Fun.
Yeah, like all the extras, or like, I don't know, they were stunt people or whatever. They buried them and gave them like a little straw that they had to breathe out of.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon was talking about how like that scene, like, it was, well, first of all, this like the vibe of that scene I think is really cool. It's when Elliot Page is like talking to Odysseus, and he's like has all this like dirt on his face and stuff because he literally came up from the ground. But he was saying basically like it was such a safety concern because if you'd done basically like an inch more of dirt, it was like they would be compacted under there and not able to move. But I was like, that's crazy. They had people buried under the ground.
Yeah. But this film really was such an achievement. I think a big part of that, obviously, like the production value, is like they filmed in like 20 different locations, and they apparently had a production team from each location. And I think that like, I don't know, it was so amazing. It was so cool to see the ship scene during the storm.
Oh yeah,
I felt like I was in that scene. It was so loud. It was so crazy.
Have you seen like there's like TikToks where you can do like a 4D Odyssey experience?
Yes,
and
can
like,
you imagine?
I would not
felt
want
like
that.
I was, you know?
Yeah. Like I don't think I need to be sprayed in the face with water while watching this.
No,
like,
I have trauma from that from when I was little, and I saw like a show at Busch Gardens that did that, and it was horrific.
I saw there was like at Disney World they have that one where it's like the alien comes down. They turned it into Lilo and Stitch.
They did a Bug's Life one too.
Yeah.
It was awful. You could.
Yeah, my parents had to take me out. I was like so scared.
Yeah, that's what happened with me at Busch Gardens.
that makes sense. And also I think there's just like certain like details. Like I loved Penelope behind this like whatever, I don't know what she would call it. It's almost like this like kind of see-through but not like great type of thing.
Right.
Where she is like the whole time.
And she's just kind of watching all these like pig suitor men like eating, and she's just like behind the thing.
And she talks behind it, and it gives this like interesting, I don't know. I just loved that. I
want to shout out, because people are talking about him a lot, but John Leguizamo's performance was so good.
Oh yeah, I thought he was
great. Really good, and I feel like he was definitely like and so I saw this. You're gonna like be upset by this, but somebody was like, he was like one of the best performances in the movie, and his second scene was literally throwing a puppy off a cliff, and yet he was like one of my favorite performances.
I literally gasped. I was like,
I know.
I've been thinking about the dog scene a lot.
Because the puppy was like, ah! And I did laugh at that. That was funny. But sad.
I turned to Chris, I think this was like the other day or whatever, and I was like, I think like Poe would wait 20 years for me to like pass away.
That made me sad.
That did, but it was like also like kind of beautiful in a way.
It was, but I didn't like when like they were kicking him out.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of, and you warned me before.
I did. I was like, just so you know, there's gonna be a lot of dog stuff. Yeah. Be warned, because there was even more than I realized.
You know whose performance I really liked was Himish Patel. Yeah. And he played, I can't say it, but it's
So it's Eurylochus.
Eurylochus, thank you. And he's like, someone, I saw this online. He, I guess, has like the second most screen time to Matt Damon, but he's
he's not on the press tour at all.
Yeah, he's not in the promos or anything.
No, I find that interesting.
But he conveyed like an interesting relationship where it's like they are very clearly friends, but also he's like, I don't really agree with some of your decisions, and also you've kind of like screwed us over a few times here. Yeah. And like you can see their friendship changing. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm gonna come back to that.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, no, that was a good performance. But yeah, I didn't see that, like he was not included in the press, and he is like the second most, like, one of the,
maybe that was his decision. I don't know. That seems weird that they wouldn't.
But God, what an achievement. Yeah, I just really came out of that movie. What an Odyssey. I really came out of that movie just being like, wow, that movie rocked. Like, yeah. It was so good.
Like I did from beginning to end. Yes. I was like,
and you did not feel the 3 hours.
Yes. And I was talking to my sister this morning. I don't know why I was telling her this, but I was just like, it's a movie you should see in theaters. It is. It is a theater experience movie.
It totally is. I can't, just as Nolan intended.
Yeah.
It does kind of, sometimes I get a little annoyed with the IMAX stuff with the set, because he also does 70 millimeter, and even if you're seeing it in IMAX, you're not even seeing the full thing. And sometimes I'm like, okay, Chris, for someone who is constantly talking about like I think he is, like, love him. Let me preface this by saying, but I do think there's something like kind of exclusive about that. Not everyone has access to that, and now you're like,
right.
I don't know.
Chris, my husband, not Nolan. Yeah. And I had a whole discussion about this at a barbecue place over the weekend, because I was like, it's kind of elitist. And he was like, it's not elitist. He was like, what do you think is elitist? He was like,
because not everyone has access to those theaters.
Right. And he was like, well, not everyone has access to the Louvre. And that's like, and I was like, right, but you could make like access to the theaters. But his whole thing
is going to the movies to see his movie, and also like, yeah, and so now it's like, well, people who are just seeing it on a regular screen, maybe they live in like a bumfuck nowhere, right? And they have like a really tiny screen, and that's all they have access to. Like,
right, exactly.
I don't know. I do agree. That's something I'm kind of like.
And it's like, okay, well, if I want to experience like an art form in the way it's intended, like I should be able to. I shouldn't have to live in New York City or whatever. And that is like frustrating, I think.
Yeah. I think so.
We like literally were at a barbecue place talking about this for like a half hour.
I love that.
Arguing
what barbecue
back and forth.
Place?
Old City. Which is one of those things, speaking of swine, why is it at barbecue places, they always have, like, pigs smiling
There was
at
a
you.
place at Mason called, like, or no, there was a place in Williamsburg, too, that was called, like, Red, Hot, and Blue, and they put, like, pigs on it. And I was like, that actually is deterring me from this place.
Right.
I don't want to think about pigs when I'm eating it.
Right, exactly.
Which is, like, I know that I shouldn't eat it, but, you know, I'm going to eat barbecue. I'm sorry. But,
can't eat chicken, so I gotta eat something.
You're off chicken.
I actually ate chicken last night, but...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Itchy.
Really?
To be clear to everyone, I'm allergic to chicken. I'm not just, like, a freak.
Never stopped her before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways.
I've also, like, one last thing is I've been seeing a lot of people say, and I kind of agree with this. My only thing is, and I think that some of the performances were amazing, I do think Christopher Nolan is not an actor's director, which, mean? Like he's interesting in putting great actors in his movies, and I think he just says, do your thing, which is like Mia Goth, who, by the way, I forgot Mia Goth was supposed to be in this. I actually didn't know she was in this movie until she showed up. I don't know where I was, because she also she's not really a huge part, but anyway, she said that, like, Christopher Nolan was just like, do your thing, like, whatever. And, like, I think Robert Pattinson said something similar where he was trying to, like, ask him for advice, and he was like, I'm not a fucking actor, like, you do whatever. And, like, that's good, but also, like, sometimes I do think his movies, like, I guess it's a good and bad thing, but I feel like he can focus on, like, the bigger picture and technical stuff. Yeah. And I think sometimes it's almost like he skips over, like, he glides past scenes very quickly. It's almost like he kind of rushes through scenes. So it's like you don't really feel the dialogue in the scene a lot.
Yeah,
like, you don't get to just sit in the scene, if that makes sense.
And also,
he's just like, we got to move on to the next scene.
Yes, I mentioned this to you. There was something in the beginning where it almost seemed like the sound sync was off. I was like, I feel like Goldilocks, because, like, I go to certain movie theaters and I'm like, this movie's too quiet. I'm like, this movie's too loud. Yeah. And I'm like, and it wasn't that their lips weren't matching, but it was like something at first, like, wasn't exactly aligned. I don't know if maybe, I think both, like, Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland don't move their mouths a lot when they talk.
They don't, but sorry, go ahead.
Well, the two of them in a scene together, maybe, like, that, like, threw me off. Yeah.
But I will say, I have actually really, as someone who rewatches Christopher Nolan movies a lot, I have commented this to Matthew, where I'm like, why is it always like this, where it's like someone is actively talking and they're like not, like, you hear sound but their lips aren't moving. I think it's just,
yeah, and it, like, got better. I think it was, like, also it was in a scene where it's like there's a lot, they're, like, at a banquet hall, so there was a lot going on. Yeah. And I think it was like the sound of their voices was, like, not, like, matching the sound of everything that was going around, like, in terms of volume or something. Like, something was off about it.
Yeah, he puts so many extras in his scenes that I actually used to have this thing with Matthew where I would literally be like, Christopher Nolan extras are, like, the worst. Yeah. Just, like, I'm sorry to say this, but, like, sometimes if you watch, and this could be on him too, but, like, you watch the scene and it'll, like, focus on people and, like, they're not acting, like, they're not, like, making the right faces, or they're like overacting. It's, like, something I've really noticed. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I think he does, like, a lot of pickups, like, voice, like, like, after, like, in post or whatever, and then it just doesn't sync well. I don't know what it is, but I have noticed that.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just also wanted to mention for the press tour, the Zendaya's outfits. She's, like, barely in this movie, and she is taking up the whole press tour. The Scaparelli that she wore, that was, like, literally La Roche saw it on the runway in London that morning, or in Paris, whatever, and then had it sent to her that afternoon.
Have you heard the controversy with that a little bit?
The earrings?
Was it the earrings? There was something where it was, like, flown, and it was just, like, a little bit, like...
I know she wore, like, real, like, 3,000-year-old earrings that were on loan from, like, some London museum, and everyone was like, well, these are, like, earrings that I think are based out of, like, what is now the region of, like, Iran, and people were saying, like, this is really disrespectful to the culture, and then other people were saying, well, why does, like, the Museum of London have it anyways? And then other people made the argument, they were like, I wouldn't have even known this was, like, had existed if she hadn't, like, have worn it, so it makes it, like, almost more accessible. And I, like, see both sides of it, where it is, like, kind of, and she's not the first actress to wear, like, a historically significant thing.
Remember when Kim Kardashian wore the...
Like, at least she didn't break them.
Right.
And they did it in a way where it's, like, I think, like, the actual artifact was protected.
Yeah.
But it is interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah, her looks though, I did love the wings.
Like she's really been like killing. And I saw this TikTok where it was just like you're like a stylist for a movie, and they're like, okay, and like who else is gonna be in the movie? And it's like, oh, Tom Holland's gonna be in it, Matt Damon, Zendaya, and the stylist is like, wait, Zendaya?
Yeah.
Is like I can't compete with Zendaya being in the movie.
I always had this is like such a stupid thing to say, but I used to have this like when Dune, I guess 2 came out, I always wondered like what it would, because I know Florence Pugh is also very like fashionable and very, you know, fashion is like a huge thing, like used to hear in like really like amazing looks, and I always like wondered, for some reason I always felt like some tension, you know, I'd be watching interviews, and I always felt like tension between the two of them for some reason, like in like, which I may just be overlooking, but I was like, I wonder if it's like they're kind of competing almost, like
I could see that.
I could kind of see it, but I mean,
There's
again,
I'm a winner, unfortunately, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I always like wonder what it is like to be another female actress, like artist in a movie when you're kind of like, Zendaya's obviously gonna outshine you.
It probably sucks. Like I think about like Anne Hathaway was wearing some really beautiful outfits. And nobody's talking about it.
Which she did. Like I will say, a lot of people were asking Zendaya. They were like, "What is it like to work with Mother?" And she'd be like, "Oh yes, like bow down." Like she would show her respect. But I will say, I do think Zendaya does tend to get. And you know what I noticed is like during the credits, she was credited as with Zendaya and Charlize Theron, which is like, that's a huge that's like. You have to work that into your contract, like negotiate that. Zendaya, like with Zendaya.
Oh, you're saying okay.
And Charlize Theron, which they were sort of small. I mean, I feel like there were other actors who had even less roles in them, but that's very much like that's how you know that they're important as figures, because I think you have to like negotiate that into your contract.
And I will say, actually, Zendaya was one of the performances I liked the least, even though she was hardly like in it, just because like Athena is supposed to be like this goddess of like wisdom and wit. Yeah. And I kind of was like, she just looks too young. I was thinking that too. I was thinking that like specifically with Matt Damon. Yeah. And actually, so they've been paired together a lot for the press tours, and during interviews. And it's not that she's not, like, she's a very intelligent person, but sometimes I'm kind of like, just hearing her talk compared to him, I just feel, I'm like, he's so much more experienced, but he's yet older, right. And I just feel like she's almost seen as just like such a goddess, which is probably why she was chosen to be Athena. But I just it is interesting. I felt that way watching it too. I feel like Charlize Theron maybe would have made a better Athena. Yeah. Because she has she is a little bit older. She looks a little bit older in like a respectful way, and she has this like look to her eyes of just like. Whereas I feel like Zendaya just still she just has a youthful look to her. I could have gone with. I wonder if that decision was based on her being available. No, I was gonna say flashbacks to who she really was, because then you're just seeing this like vulnerable person and I mean she's like a girl like crying, you know what I mean, like maybe that was like that's why he wanted like a younger person. Maybe that makes sense. But I also think just people literally just like bow down to Zendaya and kind of see her as a goddess in a way. And I mean, I think and Zendaya, shout out. She does that. It's interesting. I've seen people, I'm not saying this, but I've seen people talk about his styling for other people, and it's maybe not as there's a very huge difference, and people are like, I think Zendaya is just like the ultimate like muse, like she is the exact like statue like body for. And I love listening to the interview with him where he talks about their relationship, where he's like, Zendaya, like very early on they've been working together, and she basically was like, I'm bringing you up with me, like if I'm getting famous, if I'm making more money, you're making more money. And so on the runway, she will like almost always have him there, and she'll like be posing with him, right? Because it's like he's an icon himself. Yeah, he has a YouTube channel, and I do watch some of his videos. Really? He like vlogs, and there's some with Zendaya in them, and it's cute. Like their relationship is interesting. Yeah, I like they have a cute friendship. Well, I asked you this question earlier, and I'm just curious. So, and, you know, you all can think about this question too, because I think, like, the Odyssey, it prevails over time because it is, like, so relatable, but I feel like you can see yourself in multiple characters, or, like, which character do you think you, like, relate to the most? So I had to think about it, and I'm going to say, honestly, and this is why I said I would come back to this, but I'm going to say Eurylochus. Okay, interesting. Because I feel like
like myself. Like, he's a very, like, cautious person. He's always like, let's rethink this or whatever. Let's not go into this, like, situation. And, like, he knows when something's wrong. And I feel like I am like that.
Yeah.
Very much.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah. And also, like the loyalty of, like, this. I often find myself as sort of, like, I don't want to say, like, sidekick, but I feel like that's sometimes how I feel.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's, like, obviously his role in it. And
which, like, people always, like, give, like, not derogatory, but, like being a sidekick, according to Sky High, is, like, also, like, incredibly important because it's, like, without, how do you say his name?
Eurylochus.
Without him.
Yes.
It's like...
Yes, I don't think I'm actually a sidekick. I think I'm sometimes, like, maybe seen as that. But I feel like, it's not, like, a good thing necessarily. Main character energy all the way. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I have, like, good, like, survival instincts that he does. Where he can sometimes, like, lead, like, a person to be like, no, that's not the, like, we need to do this or whatever. I don't know. I feel like that's the character. I could have, like, I almost, like, went with, like, Tom Holland's character, which kind of sucks, but I was sort of like, I could kind of see it a little bit.
No, I think that fits, like, for you. For me, at the risk of sounding, like, narcissistic, I do find myself relating to Odysseus quite a lot.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I actually knew you were going to say Odysseus, and I was like, I think I am Eurylochus a little bit.
Did you know that because, like, do you think that's accurate, or, like...
Because I do see us, like, not that we butt heads, but I think I often am, like, sort of like, no, it's not, like...
I'm like, let's jump off this cliff, and you're like, maybe we shouldn't.
Right, that's, like, how I see... Like, not that... And again, I see myself as a main character as well, but I think sometimes with, like, us, I'm like... You have a very headstrong personality. Yeah. And I think, not that you don't think logically, but I feel like... You do, like, act.
Yes.
Which is great.
I saw a lot of, like, ADD tendencies in, like, Odysseus as well, where I think I am, like, very much a, like, good
like,
leader.
Let's do this.
I can make some really, like, smart, creative decisions, but I'm also like, I just threw a spear into the eye of Poseidon's son, just on a whim.
Yep. Whereas I think, like, that's where I feel like Eurylochus, where I'm like, but you gotta have this other, like, voice here, too. You know what I mean?
Like, honestly, when he tied himself to the boat to hear the sirens...
I actually almost said that.
I was like, in the moment, I was like, what an idiot.
Funny.
And I was like, I would do that too, though.
It's the fact that he ties himself is so funny, and everyone's like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, good thing he did, I guess.
Yeah. I'm like, that would be me.
That was actually, I was gonna bring that up earlier, is that scene, too, where I was like... It was, like, kind of funny at first, but I was also like, wow, Matt Damon's really, like, acting his ass off here. And again, he doesn't really get... what am I trying to say? He doesn't get a lot of credit for his acting. Again, I just think he's just Matt Damon. But his acting, like, he was really giving it. He was putting his Matt Damon into it.
That. Let us know what you guys are. Always curious.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram.
Just text us.
Send us a DM. Yeah, or just text us if you're lucky enough to have our number.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the Odyssey. That was a great experience.
I love it.
Tickled.
If you're curious, in my movie log, my A24 movie log got 4 stars.
Is it out of 5? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's hard to get 5 stars. I don't want to just give anything 5 stars.
What would you give 5 stars to?
I would maybe give The Dark Knight 5 stars.
Okay.
I would maybe give Rat Race. I'm just kidding.
Which we watched earlier this weekend, Chris and I did.
Aw, I love that.
Fun.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation about it.
Yeah. But speaking of big movies that are coming out, so I don't know anything about this.
And you know what I just found out today? So it's coming out. Okay, so the first trailer for Avengers Doomsday came out. Mm-hmm. And I found out it is going to be Doomsday. It's coming out December 18th, the same day as Dune Part 3.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is interesting. I think this movie obviously, like, I don't know which one is going to be my priority, I'll be honest with you. I was about to ask,
like, if you go see a movie. Do you go see movies on, December 18th? I was going to say Christmas Day.
No, I think it's December 18th.
True.
Crazy. I don't know what's going to be, like, mine and Matthew's priority.
Yeah. I mean,
like, I want to see Dune 3 with you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see Dune 3 in IMAX.
I know. Well, remember we talked about, like, maybe real IMAX.
Yeah. At the Air and Space Museum.
It'd be fun, though.
Yeah. It'd be worth it.
And we could go to this museum.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
Anyway. So I don't know what's priority. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about it for a second because it's been 4 years since this movie was first announced, and even though it's like a 2-minute trailer, I just kind of wanted to discuss it a little bit for all you fellow Marvel fans out there. I know you're not as much, but
because of you, I've now seen some. So there we go.
Yeah. Okay, so basically this movie, obviously Doomsday, it's like the threat is Doctor Doom, who's played by Robert Downey Jr., which still...
Oh, yeah.
I think everyone's still just like, what? Like, how...
Yeah.
Like, is he related to Iron... Like, what is the purpose of this? I still don't fully get it. But you do hear his voice for the first time in the trailer, so it's like, it is interesting. But it looks like it'll be Steve Rogers, Captain America, returning along with Thor to take down Doctor Doom, along with Loki and all the new, like, people like Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts.
Gang's all here.
Truly, it is just like a movie where it's like gangs all, like, it's just how many people can we fit into this trailer? But it was interesting because it does show some of the X-Men are going to be in it. So like Patrick Stewart, and a few others. And there was a plot leak circulating, and I'm not going to lie, it looks like it follows the plot.
Okay, interesting.
So
well, I guess we don't want to spoil it for people.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to even say where I saw it.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't want to take it down. Yeah. But I will just say this. I honestly felt nothing from the trailer. They just show what's supposed to be this like big emotional reunion between Thor and Steve Rogers. And as much as I love Chris Evans, I am just kind of like, why haven't you moved on yet? Like, why? Like, it felt like, honestly, it reminded me of, like, two people going back to their high school.
Yeah.
Just, like, I don't know. I mean,
and also,
the answer is money, but I just am kind of like, why?
And to not have, like, a fully fleshed trailer, like we saw the Dune trailer.
Well, I think they're just, it was a trailer, but I'm sure there'll be a longer one. It shows truly nothing. And I actually saw somebody say, if this plot is true, like the plot that's circulating, like, it's like 3 scenes from the movie is just this trailer, like,
interesting.
And so they're obviously keeping a lot of things hidden, and it'll be interesting. I mean, what they do with Steve Rogers will be interesting if it is what I think it is, but I don't know. It's interesting because this movie is like made up of characters from recent movies that have just like not done super well. So like you think about Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts, which I really love those movies, and they did well, but for Marvel movies, like no, they really didn't do very well. And so like seeing these characters come together, I just feel like was not as impactful as maybe they expected.
Probably, yeah.
And I hope it proves me wrong, but honestly, I was watching the trailer and I just was like, it just feels like slop a little bit. Like they're just shoving all these stars in one movie. It's like the biggest stars. And we just truly don't know much from the trailer other than that they're coming together to fight something. So
that's how I feel about a lot of these movies where it's like we are pulling just like big stars together. Like, we're doing a multiverse, whatever.
But like it used to not be like I think, and so I was going to actually say when you asked this question earlier, like what would be like a huge movie from like since Titanic or whatever that we still talk about, it's like I think we can really say The Dark Knight, but also I could say like Avengers Infinity War. Like I still remember the feeling of being in the theater and seeing that for the first time and just like the scene, like the ending scene, like whatever. Like I feel as though we don't have that anymore.
When did the last Avengers come out?
Avengers Endgame came out in 2019, I think.
Okay, so it's
and
been
Marvel movies have
7
come
years?
out since then.
Since the last
But
one?
that's the thing is, like, it doesn't feel that long. So when we're sitting here, like, welcome back, Steve Rogers, like, holding the, like, Thor's hammer, it's like, it's been, like, we just saw you a few years ago. Like, it feels not too soon, but I thought we wrapped this up, you know?
Here's the problem, I think, with, like, sometimes these big franchise films, is they don't do a, what is it, like, a... just like what's the saying in writing where they're like show it, don't like
tell it?
Yeah, where they're like
show don't tell?
Yeah, where it's like, oh, you don't need to tell us like this whole like welcome back, I'm telling you this is an emotional scene. It's better like writing and like to make us feel that on its own without you having like to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because truly like I felt nothing. They showed the two of them like reuniting and it just was, I don't know. I truly did not feel anything from this trailer.
Right. And I feel like because they are trying to like force you to feel something, it makes it less likely that you will.
Yeah. It just doesn't have the same feeling as when like Infinity War, where all these characters, or even Endgame, all these characters were coming together and you're like, yeah. Like it didn't feel that way. And also it just looked ugly.
Also, why did they call it Avengers Endgame? like, you would think that would be the last one of this, if it's like a trilogy or whatever.
So, I mean, I will be seeing it, obviously, but I'm just...
Yeah.
I feel... And I also feel cringed out that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doom, like, as Dr. Doom. That feels weird. I don't know why. Like, I don't understand you couldn't have chosen somebody else. Or is there a certain reason he is? And I've never seen any real takes on, or any theories on that. So I think he's literally just returning to Marvel just as a different character, and there's any kind of connection.
Yeah, that's weird.
Maybe I'm wrong, but again, I will be seeing it. I just wanted to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because also the Spider-Man movie comes out, and I will be seeing
that.
I
am very excited.
Yeah.
I am excited.
I'll see that one.
Yeah. That's another one where I'm watching press and, like, I've seen people be like, and again, I probably watch too much, like, I'm looking too much into things, but, like, people will be like, Sadie Sink is not sitting with Zendaya, and they don't ever seem to interact, and I'm like, I wonder if it's, not that either of them seem like divas, but I do wonder if... Is there room for, like, I
don't know, but I do think sometimes people, I was thinking about this the other day, like, where people really look into stuff where, like, they were saying, like, it was a compilation video of, like, Zendaya where, like, other guys are trying to, like, help her down the stairs or, like, help her, like, at award shows, and then it's, like, and her with Tom where she, like, has her whole arm around him, and, like, the other guy, she, like, won't take their hand or whatever.
I have seen things where she doesn't take people's hands.
But I'm always, like, I don't know if that's on purpose. I'm, like, think of how many times she's, like, at award shows in these big dresses. I'm, like, I'm sure at some point she has taken people's hands or their arm. I don't think it's like I'm only take Tom's arm.
Yeah.
That feels like really strange.
The stuff of like zooming in on people's mannerisms is crazy.
My almost popping in this week though was the deaf girl lip reading that they do online. I think it's so funny.
Those are fun.
And you're like,
sometimes it is, you're like, yeah, that's what they're saying.
That is exactly what they're saying. Yeah. Like, you're just like, wow.
I know.
Celebrities, they're just
and again,
like us.
Yeah, and I think, like, with the Zendaya press tour thing, I'm like, I probably am overthinking it, but I do wonder, because I'm like, that would be hard to be like, I'm here, but also Zendaya's here.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
I didn't even know until recently she was in the movie, Sadie Sink.
Yeah, and you still don't know who she's playing. She also did an audition. They just offered her the role, which I find interesting.
She looks like she would be in Spider-Man for some reason.
Probably because she looks like MJ.
You think so? Like, what is MJ supposed to look like? I've just seen, like, so many different ones, I feel like.
I associate her with red hair originally, so I feel like when people see her...
Oh, yeah, she does have red hair, doesn't she?
Yeah. But then, I mean, again, in pretty much every other adaptation, it's not... she doesn't have red hair, so...
My hot take is, like, the Kristen Dunst, like, MJ is both my favorite one, but I feel like it's, like, they made her look like the worst she's looked in a movie.
I don't like that. I don't like her hair
color.
Yeah,
it's
like not good.
I'm like, oh yeah, she is supposed to be a redhead, but it's like a weird red.
I love the. Have you seen the video of her swinging with Spider-Man? It's clearly not. It's just a doll.
Yeah.
But one thing I love about the Tom Holland movies that they've like said about like filming those swinging scenes is they're like, it looks as if you are actually swinging through like what it would look like. Him and Zendaya are like, ah!
Yeah,
like it's not pretty looking.
Yes,
and they're just like swinging like
and basically
wildly.
Like they have to do it in a certain way because her feet always land before his does, right? Because she's so much taller.
Yeah,
it really makes me laugh.
I have seen it where Tom Holland is like at one point it's literally like he's wrapped around her, like he's almost like in her lap.
Yes, funny. That is funny. But, so, to get into something that'll be a surprise to you, that I'm going to talk about, is the World Cup.
That is a surprise to me.
And I thought we should talk about the halftime show, culturally. Because I thought it was, did you see anything from it?
I actually didn't.
So I need people to know, I didn't watch any of the World Cup. Yeah. Chris watched enough for us both, so, like, that is fine. But I did happen to, like, when I came in yesterday, like, perfect timing, the halftime show just started, and I did think Chris did tell me about this at first, so I should give him some credit, but I did think it was interesting that this is the first halftime show that they've ever done for a FIFA World Cup. Like, they don't do halftime shows for, like, soccer or sports or whatever, and just is, like, very much like, America! Like, we're gonna do a halftime show, and it was a big controversy, because already, during, like, FIFA, they were taking, like, the World Cup, they were taking these quote-unquote hydration breaks, which Chris explained this to me. He was like, it was a controversy because they don't have hydration breaks. Like, you know how, like, when you watch in, like, football or something, it's like there's commercial breaks. Right. Well, all of the people were like, all the, not sponsors, but, like, the network that was showing it was like, well, we need to have some time for ads. Yeah. And FIFA was like, we don't do that. So basically, they built in hydration breaks, just in order to show ads or whatever. And so that was another thing where they were like, we're going to do a halftime show. They've never done this before, and like timing, I guess, is very important in soccer. And so they were like, you only have 11 minutes.
I was surprised to hear a halftime show because I was like, that's not something that they do. That seems so specific to America.
It was. And again, like, it was weirdly American. And then I later learned that I think like Europeans planned it. Like, they were like, what is American? And then put it together, because it starts out with Madonna in a Jeep singing a song I've never heard. I'm like, you're going to have Madonna sing one of her new things? Like, that's random. Yeah. With two, like, very famous, like, soccer players who are, like, retired, so they're, like, older, in the Jeep with her, very clearly kind of being, like, little bit not sure what's going on or whatever. She comes out like onto the field, she's doing her Madonna thing, then it's the Muppets playing the Seven Nation Army, like
amazing.
Like that, or like banging it on the drums. And it kind of was, you kind of were like, these Muppets are getting it.
The Muppets are great.
Yeah, but it's just like Madonna to Muppets is kind of like a crazy trajectory.
It's very Christmas special.
Yes.
I don't know.
And each of these, like, there was so many stars, but again, they only had like 11 minutes. So like, it's pretty quick. So it's like Madonna, Muppets. Then I think next up was, I think it was either Shakira or BTS. I can't remember. Shakira's performance was great. And she had these like kids kind of dancing with her where I was like, these are some cool ass kids. Like, they were really, their hips don't lie. They were getting it. And I was like, really, sorry, not in like a weird way, but like, I was like, these kids are like really dancing. Like, I was like, these are the most confident children I've ever seen. Sorry, again, not in a weird way.
I cannot wait to tell Chris that.
You guys know what I mean. Anyways, so then I can't remember like the order, but it was like BTS also came out and they did a really good job. Like, I'm not a huge BTS person, but I was like, okay, like the songs, I was getting it hyped up. Then they did this goofy ass thing where they had Jason, I almost said Jason Statham, Jason Sudeikis as Ted Lasso, and they had Coach Beard come out. Yes, but they did this thing where they were like, they were like doing this monologue where they're like, do you think he's ready? Do you think he's ready? Is he going to be able to come out and perform? And then it's like Justin Bieber comes out and he's like,
oh, and then
he puts his arm around him and he's like, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go out there and you're going to perform, as though like Justin Bieber's like never performed before, is like the bit, like it's supposed to be funny. And then Justin Bieber,
I bet Justin Bieber, the pillar of comedy, was hilarious.
He just was like, like he went I was like surprised they got him to go along with it.
Yeah.
And people,
because he did the Hallelujah song, right?
I don't know. He did an acoustic guitar song that was so slow, so quiet. I'm like, we went from the Muppets Seven Nation Army to an acoustic guitar.
Yeah. And threw everyone out there.
Yeah, but like I know people online were like loving it. They were like, "That's my guy," like JB. Like they love, and I'm like, I know you love Justin Bieber, but I'm like,
what do people love about him? This day?
Yeah,
I've never cared about him truly. Like even as a kid, I was never a fan. But even now, I'm just like, what about this man do you guys like love so much? To me, it's just like no personality. He's like, I don't even think he's hot.
Yeah. I do think he is incredibly musically talented.
He is, but you don't, like, I don't know. I just don't really feel anything when I see him perform.
Yeah. And this was, like, one of those times where I was like, why did we give Madonna and Justin Bieber the artistic leeway to play new shit? Where I'm just like, his whole album, like, you know, he did the Grammys performance where it's, like, him and the guitar. Right. That was beautiful. I'm like, nobody's getting hyped up by an acoustic guitar. Like, it was just, like, so quiet. Yeah. I thought it was so strange.
I think that was probably the most talked about thing, because it's what I've seen.
Yeah. And, like, but I do want to say, like, I think overall, I think people liked the halftime show. Like, there was, like, they did this really cool thing where it was, like, a globe, and it was art. It was really beautiful. It was like, oh, this is, like, we're bringing art together. But it was just, like, yeah, I could see this is how Europeans are like, okay, America, Madonna, the Muppets, Justin Bieber, Ted Lasso. You know what I mean? But, like, the Justin, like, and again, people were, I don't hate, like, I think Justin Bieber's great. I'm like, we could have played a hype song. It's the World Cup finale. Fine, whatever.
They're probably just lucky they got him out there.
Yeah, so I just thought that was really interesting.
It is interesting. Thank you for sharing.
And again, it was the first ever one. I'm like, I wonder if they'll do it in the next one. I don't know what country it's at. Again, I don't pay attention. I don't follow those things. But America.
Yeah.
And Spain won, which I'm very excited because we're going in like...
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'll be
almost
hype.
like a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told Chris, he was like, well, I mean, it'll be a month from now. And I was like, I feel like when a country wins the World Cup...
really excited.
yeah, I feel like he is. He's just very chill about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like when a country wins the World Cup, like, they don't stop talking about it after a month.
He really is like a cat, because if he can be excited about something, but I feel like if you get too excited about it, he's like, whoa.
Yeah, he's like, tone it down.
There.
We're not going to be losers
he's
here.
He's like, never mind, I'm not excited anymore.
Yes. But anyway, so that was the World Cup halftime show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Anytime.
So I just wanted to talk about this briefly. I don't know if we care that much, but I just thought this was interesting. But Chloe Fineman is leaving SNL after 7 seasons. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I didn't.
But she posted on Instagram that she's not returning for the new season, which I think is just really interesting considering the backlash she's faced, particularly over the last couple years.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the reason necessarily, but I can't imagine she's not seeing it. And so I do wonder if it's like, if it could have had a role in that and if her just choosing to leave.
Which, go back and listen to. We covered the episode where she tells this really inappropriate camp story.
I was gonna say I actually saw someone be like, this video being her legacy, and it was the video, the Vanity Fair video we talked about when she said she pantsed a little boy as a camp counselor.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people are too upset to see her go. I actually saw and take this with a grain of salt, but I did see a Page 6 article that she had apparently tension with other SNL cast members before leaving.
I could see that.
She seems like a tension person. And I don't want to like believe Page 6, but I'm like, I could see, like, I do just, sometimes I wonder what's happening. I always think this, and we touched on this a little bit with like when we were talking about Armie Hammer last week, not comparing her to Armie Hammer, but what I'm saying is when someone's really canceled and people suddenly like the nation, like audiences kind of turn on someone, I always wonder what that's like for behind the scenes. So something at SNL where you're having to be there every week.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm sure people that are actually there aren't like, there's keyboard warriors, so it's like people behind the screen are like trashing her, but then I'm sure like when they're meeting her, people are probably not hating on her. But I do always just wonder like what that is like, whereas there's other people in the cast that are getting like a lot of really positive attention, and I wonder what that's like for her, having been there for 7 seasons now. All of a sudden, like, people really don't like her.
Right. Who's really left? Because Bowen Yang left. Chloe Fineman's not there.
Yeah, Heidi.
I almost said Heidi Montag.
I did too. Heidi. Not Klum.
You guys know what Heidi we're talking about.
Why can't I think of her last name? I love her. That's crazy. Anyway, she left.
Yeah, she left. So is it just the TikTok girl and...
There's other people, but
I
would say like one of my favorites is Ben. I really like Ben Marshall. My favorite is Ashley. Well, so Keenan, actually answer your question, Keenan is still, he'll probably be there till
forever.
Yeah, which I appreciate. I think Mikey Day is still there, and he's been there for quite a while. But I think honestly, I am hoping to see this season Ashley Padilla. She's like, to me, one of the best people in a really long time. She was still a featured player this past season, and she's been there for a couple years now. And to me, like, she carries the show on her back. And so hopefully she'll be like, I'm assuming she'll be a main cast member this year. But I'm like, that's who I'm like really, like, that's who I'm looking at this season, because I think she's so amazing. She's so funny.
You know what I haven't heard a lot about is the UK SNL.
I haven't either. And I think people, they have fans, but I do wonder how long that's going to last. Like, I wonder if people in the UK are watching it the way that, like, SNL is such a staple for America.
Right. Like, when I heard that they were doing this, I was like, why didn't they do this, like, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Because I do feel like, even though, like, SNL is a staple in America, I feel like it also is a staple in, like, other countries as well. Like, American SNL, those skits, like, are also, people are familiar with them.
And also, like, people from, like, you know, famous British people were coming on the show. So I do wonder if that's going to be like a weird thing where it's like, are they going to go to UK or I don't know. I guess it's just wherever they're located that week. But I thought it was interesting because, you know, people like, besides her as a person, I do think that Chloe Fineman was talented. Like, she was really good at impressions. And I feel like my take is that she's funny. She did good impressions, but I think like towards the end with all the like criticism she was getting and kind of the hate, I feel like she almost like lost confidence or something, because I noticed that she would always like laugh during every sketch, which just would like ruin the sketch.
Yeah.
And like, especially she's like the only one laughing. It's just something kind of like, she didn't used to do that. I didn't notice.
Yeah.
And so I do wonder if like maybe like with all the like backlash she was getting, maybe that kind of, I don't know, I feel like you would kind of lose confidence and then be like uncomfortable.
Yeah. And also I feel like when you know like people in the audience don't really like you that much, you probably are getting a lot less like scenes and stuff too.
Right.
So then
well,
it's kind of
that's
like,
what I mean is I
here?
wonder what it was like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but she's apparently joining a Netflix show called Miran Bolitar. I might be Myron Bolitar. So I don't know if it was like scheduling related, but I'm sure she was also ready to like leave the show. I don't think she was fired or anything. Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting. I was going to bring up the point that it is like people really are dropping because I mean obviously Bowen Yang's not there, and actually hot take, but Bowen Yang was not one of my favorites. I think he could be funny. I don't think he was the strongest cast member. Yeah. I don't think he had a ton of range.
Well, he said they like really. He would have had range if they had let him, probably. Like, they really, like, pigeonholed him into very specific types of characters.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just wonder what that range would have been, because I feel like he sort of acts the same in everything I see, even in his own movies. Like, he acts the same.
I don't know.
So I don't know. But, yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
Well, we'll see what she does, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how my my feelings of her change over the years.
Of Chloe Fineman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about, so this is like I'm going to wrap this all into one bow. Okay. But as you know, like the Fourth Wing adaptation has kind of been like up in the air a little bit. It's being like produced by Michael B. Jordan.
Right.
Which again, people were always like, why aren't you starring in it? And it's like, it's Michael B. Jordan. But so so the biggest news this week is that Rebecca Yarros, I was thinking about this, she's like kind of pulling a Taylor Swift where she was like posting these little like hints on Instagram where she'd be like, oh, like it'd be a picture, it's like so much to do today, and it'd be like a certain amount of boxes to check off, and people were like trying to like put the pieces together of what, like, oh, what's coming, like, what is she gonna be doing or whatever. So I guess, like, they did put the pieces together, and she announced that her next book in the series is going to be a novella about Threshing Day, which, if you haven't read the series, is basically, like, it's gonna be stories about when, like, the dragon riders bond with their dragons or whatever. It sounds so stupid, but it's interesting. I'm like, I'm gonna read it, but I don't care that much. But people, I think, are just excited to have, like, another piece of it. But I just think it's interesting because, again, so one of the other big news surrounding this is that Amazon Prime has officially ordered the television adaptation. Before it was like Michael B. Jordan, I think his production company was maybe shopping it around. So now it's like officially going to be through Amazon.
Okay.
Which is good because I think it's still in like pre-production. And Rebecca Yarros, the author, she's going to be like one of the executive producers and showrunners, which I think will be good. Like, I think it's good when they have like the author on it, but not like completely like running it.
Yeah.
Like
I think there should be some boundaries. Yeah.
And so what's interesting to me though is, again, like people have been doing this thing where it's like the Taylor Swift like Easter egg thing. So they've been trying to figure out who's going to be cast in the series, right? Mm-hmm. And they were like, well, Rebecca Yarros made her profile picture on Instagram black and white. All of her posts recently have been black and white. Then Michael B. Jordan at the same time made his profile picture black and white, right? So then people are like, okay, so there's clearly a theme. So then they've been going to like actors' pages that they think are going to be cast in it.
Oh my God.
They're like, okay, well, this person's like, bio picture is in black and white. And one of them is like the guy that everyone thinks is going to be like, play like Xaden, who is like the main character. It's this guy. Xaden. He's very hot. But his, like, Instagram profile...
Wow, he just looks like a straight model.
Yeah. I don't know if, like, he is a... Like, I don't know anything about him, but his name is, I think, Josh Houston. Yeah, and he's, like, one of the leading favorites. But then, for the person who's supposed to play Violet, people were like, okay, well, Indy Navarrete? I think that's how you say her name. They're like, well, her profile picture was black and white. Or, like, Mackenzie Foy... who famously played Renesmee in Twilight is one of the favorites, as well as Katie Douglas. I
haven't seen her in anything lately, though. Is she has she acted since? She was in the Nutcracker movie. That's the only thing I remember.
She was in something recently because I remember looking her up, being like, God, that looks really familiar, but I don't remember what that was. I'd have to look it up again. But there's it's interesting because I'm like, wow, people are foaming at the mouth for this. They're literally whose profile pictures are black and white, or they're literally someone was following this actor's MyFitnessPal type of thing, where it's well, he's doing basically a dragon rider training style training workout, so it's probably him or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think some actors are
dragon style training workout.
People are crazy. And I think it's some actors, if it were me, I would do this too, where it's they probably aren't even being considered, but they're people like me, so I put a dragon in my profile, dragon emoji, and everyone's oh, it's and it's they haven't even cast it yet, but I'm glad.
I think it's really cringy when actors campaign. That's a hot take, 'cause I mean, you could look at it as go and get your
go and get your bag, I guess. But
go for your dreams. But I think it's really cringy when actors campaign for book roles.
And but I am well, I'm anti-Amazon, so I'm not glad that they purchased it, because I do think if you look at the Rings of Power, or even the Wheel of Time, these big fantasy productions, it's they either put way too much money into it, or they don't put enough, and it looks strange.
Did either of those do well though? I didn't think they did.
I think the Wheel of Time just has a fan base,
right? I know it does, but
but no, the Rings of Power did not do well. I watched half of it as a huge fan of Lord of the Rings,
most
and
people
I was this
really didn't like it.
Kind of boring and weird.
So I kind of question.
Yeah,
I almost think HBO is sort of the only place where it can go where it would thrive,
because you have to be able to And one of the things I told you about when I was watching the Wheel of Time, I was what it is it's the lighting and the filter that they put on it. It's
specific look.
I'm it's weird. It just makes me not think that I'm watching a fantasy thing.
And I'm picturing it as a distinct look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas and the Rings of Power had that, but then it was there was no heart to it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel if you think of Game of Thrones, it has both the technical aspect, and it has some heart to it that I think is good.
You know what it reminds me of? Those show Amazon fantasy shows. It reminds me of how I felt about the Golden Compass, where it was kind of ugly.
Yeah, and it's there's so much, and thing is these are huge money investment productions to put in, but it's you have to be able to, and I think about, I'm it's crazy that it's taking this long to do a Fourth Wing, or an ACOTAR, whatever, because I'm you gotta strike while the iron's hot, you know?
Right.
These productions are going to make so much money, but think about when Twilight, the books came out, versus how many years past the movies came out. It was 2 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's because you got to get it when the craze is hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's I don't know how much time we have left in this romantasy trend. I mean, I don't think it's going away anytime soon, but I'm it's crazy that these production companies aren't yes, we want this. And maybe I don't know, part of it is because people don't invest in things that women like, but I think they're with Barbie and stuff, they're starting to realize it. But I'm you're just sitting on a money pot if you aren't going to invest this and do it well. And I think because Michael B. Jordan is behind it, I do trust him to be no, we're gonna do this right, we're gonna do it both how the fans will want it, and also in a way that makes it a worthwhile production.
I mean, I like him, but I don't know if I try. Has he shown that before?
I don't know, but I trust him. When he talks about it,
he is. Yes.
He seems
his interests. Yeah. Show that he would have investment in it, because I think he's into that kind. He's obviously into it, but
yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen him do Has he produced something before? He did the Creed movies. He did Just Mercy.
He did Fahrenheit 451, which I didn't like, but I think it got mixed reviews.
He's also actively developing an authorized television series about Muhammad Ali called The Greatest.
I love that. But I think he's someone who's I'm willing to learn as well.
Yeah, and, I'm a fan. I just was when you said I trust him, I'm wait, why?
I just love him.
Because we love him. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. And he seems like a genuine person.
Random, but did you know Robert Pattinson has a production company? And it's produced quite a few movies.
What has it done?
It's called, it's Icky and Neo.
Interesting. What movies has it done?
Oh, well, it's about to do Primetime. I'm excited about Prime. I will be watching that Primetime movie about Chris Hansen. Yeah. Okay, this is a creepy website. I don't know how I feel about it. That really scared me. I didn't like that.
What was it?
I don't know. It just, like, scared me as a production company. Oh, my God.
Oh, that's very
I'm going to get out of it. I
think that's his website.
I know, but it scared me. I didn't trust it. Okay. I can see where Ped's and giving me viruses.
Yeah.
I'll look into that later. But he has done, like, quite a few, or I'll see him, like, attached to things that are, like, being made that I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be a good movie. It'll be, like, it's a lot of, like, I think A24 movies, too.
Oh, I could see that, yeah.
What movie is it that is being made, that's being adapted from a book that Patrick Schwarzenegger is about to star in? It's not Beach Reads, is it?
Yeah, it is.
How do you feel? Did you read that book?
No, I haven't read it.
Okay.
I've only read one, Emily Henry. It was Book Lovers.
Okay.
But I am curious because I think we talked about this. The internet is like up in arms about it.
They're so mad. But you know what? I really remembered that when he was cast in The White Lotus, people were also kind of up in arms because they were like, Nepo baby. Like, and he ended up being really good. So I'm curious, like, how he'll be. I think also the look of the movie maybe people are mad about because it doesn't match exactly the aesthetic they were expecting, but I'm about trusting the process. I actually think he's a very good actor, but he's one who does campaign for roles. He'll be like all over X.
And he's like said that though. He's like, because everyone like is just like, oh, that's like Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
Right.
They don't think like he's going to be good, and he actually can be very good.
I do see, like, I think it's funny when Nepo babies are like, sometimes we have to work harder because people don't, and it's like, don't say that, but I do see what they're saying a little bit because people automatically have a view of you that
do it while you like don't have health insurance, and then I would like
exactly
you know, then I'd be like you're working harder than the average actor.
You don't gotta make any statements at all,
right? Exactly.
I don't even want to hear them when they say, sorry, I'm really off topic right now, but I don't even like it when they say like, I recognize my privileges. Like, just don't mention it.
Yeah, don't. It's okay. It's fine.
We're good.
It doesn't make you sound any better ever.
Yeah.
To us non-Nepo babies.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Whatever. But speaking of Twilight, okay, and
Robert Pattinson and Mackenzie
Foy, yeah. This is just a little thing of, I asked you beforehand, I was like, have you seen Alex and Ani, throwback to them, are doing a Twilight-themed jewelry line.
I kept seeing, I don't know much about it, I just keep seeing the ads, and I'm not gonna lie, for a split second, I was like, should I buy this? But I thought it was kind of ugly.
It is, and there's one where it's like,
and I used to wear Alex and Ani a lot.
Yeah. I used to as well. They actually did do a Romantasy line a few months ago that actually was really cute. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, this will probably be really cute too. But no, it's like literally things where there is, I think it's the locket, I can't remember.
Yeah. Where
it's like you open it and the Edward and Bella literally like come out on a little chain, like they're swinging like a spider monkey scene. Which is like
wait a minute. The bracelets have
yes
them like hanging. That's so fun. It's like dangled charms.
Yes, you can get like
I kind of want this.
It's very, but like that charm, like you open that locket and it just falls out on a chain, like, oh, like
it's only $38.
Yeah, Alex and Ani is like pretty cheap. I feel like I remember them
They used to be like $60 or something. Yeah. Maybe not, but
like, for example, so this was, like, the Court of Thorns and Roses one. I was like, that's cute. Like, it's almost like a Claddagh ring type thing.
Yeah, I see they have House of the Dragon ones, too. Okay, if I was Team Jacob, I would want this because it's really pretty.
Yeah, it is. And, like, but then there's things that I'm like, I don't understand this, where it's, like, so this is a locket bracelet, and it's a picture from the movie.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
fun.
Is it? I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
They have Hoa Hoa ones.
Yes, which is very funny.
I kind of wish Kendra Scott would do a Twilight. That's what I would buy.
Oh,
probably,
yeah.
I feel like that's actually, like, pretty. They also have vampire. Oh, it pairs well with their vampire teeth fangs pendants.
Oh, I thought you meant they sold just, like, vampire teeth. I was like, whoa.
I guess.
A lot of people are up in arms about the fact that they are also selling, like, a version of the most infamously ugly engagement ring of all time, which is Bella's, like, microphone engagement ring.
I just saw it. Well, they also have this one, which I'm like, why didn't Matthew propose to me with this? Oh, it is that one. Oh, and if you open it, yeah.
Yes, it's a picture of their wedding.
Also, can I tell you a story? It's a little short story, but
okay.
What this whole thing reminds me of. This all reminds me of when I was in middle school, I did theater and, like, drama club. And we were all auditioning for a musical. And my friend... Hope she's not listening to this. I don't know. She was like, she had done her audition and she thought she did a really bad job, which like she was fine. And so afterwards, she's like, I think I'm going to ask if I can do one more thing. And she wore this bracelet, because again, this was 7th grade. We were obsessed with Twilight at the time. Just as I am now, but really obsessed then. And she had this bracelet that said, and so the lion fell in love with the lamb. And I'm not joking. She literally was like, I think I did so bad at the audition. Like, I'm going to ask if I can go up there and just do one more thing. And so they did let her go up, and she just read the line. Like, she was just like, and so the lion fell in love with the lamb.
Oh, no. What was she auditioning for?
We did a musical called Once on This Island.
Oh, it's going to be
really
like
good
Annie.
musical if you haven't heard it, yeah. And she all we like all, you know, made the musical, and she made it, and she was like, it was because of my line. I know it was like because of that. Like, I'm so glad I ended up doing that line reading. Like, it's one line. She was like,
so the lion.
She was like, and so the lion fell in love with the lamb. Like, really dramatic.
That is
and
very.
She thought that she got it because of that, and I was like, I don't think so.
That is very like that time period. I could see that 100%.
It was so
that's funny.
Like,
I imagine
just seeing,
because
she was wearing like a bracelet. Just seeing that really brought that memory back.
The like director of the like whatever just being like, okay.
It's like these two like history teachers.
Yeah, they're like, and
English teachers.
Next.
They're like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she didn't have, they like, it's that thing where they like slowly look up.
Yeah.
Where they're like, what?
Everyone gets silent.
Yeah.
That's really funny, actually.
It was perfect. Like, it was really relevant.
Yeah. But, yeah, so maybe
we'll get matching bracelets.
I'm like, what one would I get, though?
I would absolutely get the swinging monkey one.
It's so funny.
It's hilarious.
It's like you
so
open it and it just falls out. It's crazy.
Well, no, but the bracelet just was the charm, right? Yeah, that's what I would get. Because I used to have, this actually makes me sad to think about. I used to wear all of them on one arm, and then someone in college eventually, like, someone in my sorority commented on it, and someone was like, yeah, Molly, it really stresses me out how you wear all of them, and I was like, oh. And so they really, like, killed my shine. Like, I was like, I'm never wearing these again. It was such a
peak, like, college sorority time. Yeah. And yes, I remember I, like, stopped wearing them very quickly, though, because it was sensory overload. Like, they would jangle, and the charms would hit things.
I was doing that to others with my bracelets, because they literally said it stresses me out, and I was like, oh, sorry. But I have a funny, if my mom is listening, Cindy, shout out, I just have this memory of her, like, when I got into American for grad school, she, like, I was, like, sitting in my room, it was, like, during the summer, and she literally, like, slid something under my door, and it was an eagle charm. Which, because they were the eagles, and she, like,
that's cute.
She got me an Alex and Ani, like, eagle bracelet, and I was like, oh, I just thought it was, I still, like, sometimes I'll think about that and laugh to myself that she, like, just slid it under the door.
Just like, you're in a prison cell, and she's just like,
why did she do that? It's so funny. It's, like, so cute.
Do people still wear the Pandora bracelets? Those were huge.
I don't think so. I did see they were making a comeback. To be honest, these Twilight ones are giving Pandora a little bit. I got confused and thought they were that, but I don't think so. And if they are, I'm sorry, but I don't feel like they're very... I never thought they were cute. I actually never wore Pandora bracelets.
I wore a knockoff one. My parents didn't want to do, like, the whole... So it was just, like, a similar one you could get at the mall.
I guess at the time,
They're kind of, like, you know, a couple, maybe $100 or
really?
something. Oh. But, they, like, with the charms and stuff, too. Because you're not just going to wear, like, a plain one, you know?
Yeah.
So... Anyways, yeah, if you guys buy some, let us know. If you get the Polly Pocket ring, that's crazy.
That is crazy, but
it's literally like a Polly Pocket shell on a ring.
To go with our Polly Pocket American Girl collab.
You slide it next to your, like, engagement ring and wedding band. Just like, yeah, it's got a special place in my heart. But yeah, anyways, well, I think that's all we have for you guys today. I hope you've enjoyed this journey, this Odyssey. And I hope you buy some jewelry off of us.
Yeah, and also, like, if you leave for years, like, let your wife know. Like, let her know you're okay.
Let a bitch know, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was thinking about it, I was like, do they not have mail? And then I was like, I guess probably not.
They didn't have ravens?
Like hawks? I don't know.
Yeah, hawks. They couldn't have sent a hawk letter.
Did they have that? I
think
they had that back
dangerous, because then they would have, I don't know. It's a whole thing. We don't have to get into it.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like, hey, on my way home.
Yeah, we
like
have some notes, Chris.
Yeah, send a little on my way text.
Yeah, we have some notes, Christopher Nolan.
Well, I don't know if that's him. I think that's just like...
Nope, it's him.
The thousands of years. But anyways, as always, please share this with the people you would go on a journey with. Molly and I would go together.
Aw, and we would be the
pairing.
The Odysseus to Eurylochus.
Yeah. Aw. That's fun. And except you wouldn't die in it. I think you would survive. You wouldn't eat that cow.
I definitely think I would. Oh, yeah. So, okay, ignore all the, like, I did laugh when he was like, I didn't think you would see us or whatever. that was funny.
Anyway. Anyways, share with whoever you want, but most importantly, come back next week and the week after and forever and always because we like spending time with you.
Bye.